It was a quiet day until this kid came into the ER, one I'll never forget for sure. It all started while I was rotating in the surgery department. It was already my second to last shift. That day, out of nowhere, we got a call for a consultation in the ER about a kid. Such a shame.
He's in critical condition, barely made it.
I hope he pulls through.
The kid was brought in by ambulance, and it was honestly a miracle he got there in time.
What happened?
He fell from several meters up.
How did it happen?
He was rock climbing, Doc.
Later that day, we found out the kid wasn't wearing his safety harness, though I'm not sure why. The kid had serious head trauma, his whole body was bruised, and several bones were broken. Honestly, he was in bad shape. We didn't have much hope.
Get this patient to the ICU now. It's for today, guys.
When they send you there, it's never a good sign, and that's because it's only for life or death emergencies. It was bad. Because of that, the kid hadn't eaten real food for several days. He needed multiple surgeries and procedures, but due to his condition, they couldn't perform them.
I'm hungry.
We still can't eat, buddy.
Okay.
He was having trouble peeing. The catheter hurt him, and he had casts all over his body. He could barely move. I was in charge of the little Louis during this whole first phase. Running tests, checking lab results, doing rounds, and so on. The weekend came and I had to stay on call. The kid was still in the hospital, so I went to check on him and see how he was doing. Hey, good afternoon. May I come in?
Sure, go ahead, Doc.
Hey,
Luckily, Louis was more alert and awake now. He even chatted and moved a bit more, though he was still exhausted, also thirsty and hungry. How are you holding up, champ?
good, Doc. Hurting and lying flat, though?
Haha, yeah, you really took a hard fall, huh?
I know, but I almost made it. You should have seen me.
I started chatting with the kid to build trust and make his stay at the hospital a bit easier and funnier. Louis was really nice. For some reason, it felt familiar talking to him, like if I've met him before. So, what do you like to do?
A lot of things. Climbing, not so much anymore.
Hahaha.
My favorite is baseball.
That's when everything clicked. As soon as he said baseball, it was like seeing my little brother lying there in his bed. Hey, my brother is the same age as you.
Really?
Yeah, and he loves baseball too.
Maybe he and I can be friends when I get out.
For sure. Not only were they the same age and had similar interests, but they also looked alike, and I hadn't noticed until then. I got to check on some of your tests, but I'll see you later, okay, Louis?
Okay.
This made me feel especially attached to Louis, so I was constantly checking on him and getting all the help possible. Doctor, what do you think about this case?
Let me take a look.
After a few days, despite how serious his condition was, the kid started improving, and I was incredibly relieved and happy for Louis.
Ma'am, your son is responding really well to the treatment.
It's not certain, but we might not need to keep him here much longer.
The reason this case hit me so hard and made me feel so vulnerable was that Thomas, my 12-year-old little brother, had passed away 2 years ago. He was my best friend, and seeing this kid, Louis, brought his memory back as if I were seeing him again. I didn't want anything bad to happen to him. I always felt guilty about my brother's death. It haunted me, thinking I could have done more to save him, and I just didn't.
You okay, Doc?
Yeah, buddy, don't worry. Everything will be fine. I won't let anything happen to you, Tommy.
Huh?
I mean Louis, sorry. But this time, I wouldn't let anything happen to my little friend, so I kept a close eye on everything he needed. I made sure he knew he could count on me. I'd make sure everything worked out.
Doctor,
What happened?
we've got an emergency in the ICU. It's the kid.
No matter how often you forget, life always finds a way to remind you that no one's time on Earth is guaranteed. I think doctors see this every day, and it never really sinks in.
There's no choice. We need to place a central venous catheter.
All right, Doc. The catheter helped stabilize the kid so he was out of danger, but he needed time to recover. I felt so scared, but I didn't show it. How are you, champ?
I'm tired, Doc, but I'm okay.
You gave us a good scare, but don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine from here on out, I promise.
Okay.
The next day, everything was going well. His vitals were stable and everything looked good.
I'm really thirsty, Doc. Can I have a little water?
Let me check.
And maybe a bath, because I'm starting to stink, haha.
The pediatrician said it was fine. Not a full glass, but at least enough to wet his lips. Then a nurse kindly gave him a sponge bath to make him feel fresher. He looked so relieved.
Thanks a lot. I couldn't stand the heat anymore.
I'm ashamed to say I couldn't keep the promise I made days earlier. The little warrior lost the fight a few hours later. Louis went into cardiac arrest and he never came back with us. But now I understand that I don't need to carry the guilt anymore. Not for my brother and not for my little friend.